Welcome to Impact Signals, social impact at the scale of AI. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Sarah.
It's Sunday, March 8th, episode 24. Ukraine's landmine crisis is getting a serious AI upgrade. The IRC is publishing what real humanitarian AI deployment actually looks like after 2 years in the field, and South Korea just showed every city what flood-resilient infrastructure can look like. Let's get into it. We start with a recovery story that deserves far more attention than it gets. Ukraine has an estimated 139,000 square miles of territory contaminated by landmines and unexploded ordnance, roughly the size of Montana. Clearing it could cost more than $37 billion. At current rates, experts say the timeline stretches beyond 700 years.
AI and drones are starting to change those odds. New research out of Rochester Institute of Technology, reported this week, takes a design approach that's genuinely different. Instead of building a model that always outputs a confident prediction, which is dangerous in a demining context, the system outputs uncertainty scores. When the imaging is ambiguous or noisy, the model says, in effect, "I'm not sure." That flag is what field operators actually need to make safer decisions.
Alongside that, a platform called GRIT, the Geoinformation System for Demining, is coordinating national and international clearance operations in Ukraine by prioritizing agricultural zones first. The logic? Align land restoration with food production, so one recovery effort serves multiple crises simultaneously. These aren't pilot programs. Ukrainian demining services and the nonprofit Invictus Global Response are running active operations in Kharkiv right now using these tools.
The 2024 numbers make clear why this matters. 1,945 people killed by mines last year, 4,325 injured, 90% civilians, nearly half of them children. Uncertainty-aware AI that supports human judgment rather than replacing it, that's exactly the design principle the humanitarian tech sector has been pushing for. Worth tracking closely.
From mines to governance, and a framework paper from CDAC Network that reframes a concept most practitioners already know. CDAC published new analysis this week pushing the sector to move from human-in-the-loop AI toward what they're calling community-in-the-loop AI. The distinction matters.
Human-in-the-loop sounds good, but in practice, it often just means a technical advisor at headquarters reviewing model outputs. Community-in-the-loop means crisis-affected populations are actively involved in designing, deploying, and overseeing the AI systems that affect their lives. CDAC's argument is direct. Where AI-enabled systems outpace people's ability to question decisions or seek remedy, trust erodes quickly and is difficult to rebuild.
The paper cites Taiwan's digital governance model as a working example. Systems that expand participation and strengthen accountability simultaneously, with transparency, literacy, and redress built in as governance requirements from the start, not retrofitted later. CDAC's Safe AI framework is currently in real-world beta testing ahead of full 2026 publication. If your organization is deploying AI in crisis response settings, this framework is the closest thing to a field-tested accountability standard we have right now.
Worth reading before it becomes a compliance baseline.
Now, a preparedness issue every humanitarian organization's infrastructure team needs on their radar. Cloud computing has become the backbone of humanitarian operations. Needs assessments, beneficiary databases, coordination platforms, cash transfer systems. Most organizations assume that cloud means resilient. Recent events have demonstrated that assumption needs revisiting.
Major cloud providers operate data centers in dozens of regions globally, including regions that sit inside active risk zones. When those facilities experience disruption, the provider's guidance is to migrate workloads to alternate regions and activate disaster recovery plans. For organizations that haven't done that planning in advance, the disruption hits exactly when operational continuity matters most, during a crisis.
The action item is concrete. Audit where your organization's critical systems are hosted. Map which cloud regions your data lives in against your operational geography. If you're running beneficiary registries or coordination tools in a single region without a documented failover plan, build one now, before you need it. This is a continuity risk that the sector has underweighted, and recent events have made it concrete.
From infrastructure to field deployments, and one of the most substantial public accounting of what AI in humanitarian settings actually looks like at scale. The International Rescue Committee just published From Promise to Practice, How We're Scaling AI for Humanitarian Good, a report grounded in 2 years of real deployments, not thought experiments.
The headline deployment is Aprendia, an AI coaching tool for teachers operating in crisis settings. In northeast Nigeria, the IRC has taken the program from an initial cohort of roughly 400 teachers to 3,200, now partnering directly with ministries of education in Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe states. The target before the end of 2026 is 22,000 teachers. That's a scale trajectory most humanitarian tech programs never reach.
What makes the report valuable isn't just the numbers. The IRC is explicit about what responsible AI actually requires in their operating context. Can the system function in low-bandwidth environments? Can it operate fairly across underrepresented languages? Can it be audited, overwritten, and governed at the field level? And critically, if the system fails, can the IRC guarantee that no beneficiary is harmed in the failure? Those questions have to be built into partnership agreements, not just internal policy.
The program is supported by the MasterCard Center for Inclusive Growth and Data.org through the AI2AI Challenge, with an earlier award from OpenAI. For practitioners, this report is the most rigorous public documentation we have of what it actually costs, organizationally and operationally, to deploy AI responsibly in the field. The link is in the show notes.
And finally, a replicable model for AI-powered urban flood prediction that every city facing escalating climate risk should be paying attention to. Busan, South Korea signed Memoranda of Understanding this week with 4 national research institutes to develop a citywide AI flood prediction and response platform.
The concept is straightforward, but the execution is significant. Busan is already covered by CCTV infrastructure. The new system trains AI on those existing camera feeds to read rainfall patterns and model water flow across the entire city in real time, not just in pre-designated high-risk zones, but everywhere. Previous approaches used sensors in a limited number of disaster-prone areas and relied on meteorological data. This provides continuous city-wide forecasting that enables proactive intervention instead of reactive response.
The project is part of Digital Urban Flood Control Technology Development for Flood-Safe Cities, a national convergence program under South Korea's National Research Council of Science and Technology. 4 institutes collaborating: Korea Institute of Civil Engineering, Korea Institute of Geoscience and Mineral Resources, the Electronics and Telecommunications Research Institute, and Korea Railroad Institute.
The reason this matters beyond Busan, the system architecture uses existing infrastructure rather than requiring new investment. That makes it directly transferable to other mid-sized cities facing flood risk, without the capital cost of building a new sensor network from scratch. As extreme rainfall events increase in frequency and intensity under climate change, this is the kind of model that city governments and their humanitarian partners need to be studying now.
Coming up, a few events worth marking on your calendar. The Humanitarian Networks and Partnerships Weeks in Geneva run through March 14th. AI and data coordination sessions are happening throughout the week. EU AI Week is March 10th through 14th in Brussels, with significant implementation guidance expected on the EU AI Act, directly relevant to any organization operating in Europe. The WSIS Prizes nomination deadline is March 15th, 1 week away. If your team has deployed AI for social impact, this is a meaningful visibility opportunity. And the AAAI Spring Symposium's AI and Humanitarian Aid track runs March 24th through 26th at Stanford.
That's Impact Signals for Sunday, March 8th. If this briefing is useful, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out at impactsignals.ai and share it with someone working in the field.
Stay ready.